Charles, your take on it?
Well, we get the president coming out. The world has been waiting to hear what the president of the United States is going to say about this major crisis. And he comes out and says, I'm thinking about it, and I'll have a decision in a couple of days. I mean, this is quite amazing. This is quite remarkable. Either make a decision and announce it, or don't make a decision and let the world know when you actually decide. The fact that, you know, he's asked his staff to bring him options. Every president is brought options by his staff. You don't have to go out and make a speech about that. It's as if he's learning how the presidency is done. He should already have options. He would already have chosen. Now, the only extenuating circumstance here is that he said, we're waiting to see how the Maliki, he's the prime minister, how the Maliki government acts, because it is true that it's alienated the Sunnis and set up this situation by being very sectarian, extremely pro-Shiite, going after Sunnis. So what he's saying to Maliki, he's saying, we want you to make a gesture to begin to bring the Sunnis back, to show that you will try to govern with them the way you did when we were still here, before I think summarily and unwisely evacuated Iraq in 2011.
Because just so the viewers don't get lost as Sunni and Shia, right. Because the Sunnis, Maliki has not been treating them well since we left, and it's created an opportunity for these al-Qaeda-linked Sunni fighters to come in, exploit the sympathy of the Sunnis, and basically take over some of these cities.
Saddam was a Sunni. They ruled Iraq, even though they're only about 20% of the country, for 80 years. We came in, we got rid of Saddam, we established a democracy, and therefore the majority, the Shiites, came to power for the first time ever.
Right.
The problem is that Maliki has oppressed, persecuted, marginalized the Sunnis instead of reconciling with them. So to go back to Obama, the only justification for saying we're waiting is we're waiting to see if Maliki will make a gesture of openness to the Sunnis, because otherwise the president is right about this. In the end, they are going to fail and they will fall to this insurgency.
But the thing is, Charles, we were told that the White House was caught off guard here, that they'd been monitoring it, but they were shocked at how quickly this terror group had made such gains, and yet then the reports came out that the intelligence community warned the White House in the spring that this thing was moving faster and this group was more dangerous than they had once believed, and now some are saying we needed to pay attention back then. The options are very limited now because we apparently didn't do whatever it was the intel community was recommending we do back in the spring.
I think that is very true. The rebels, the Sunni extremist jihadists, are in control of the second largest city in Iraq, Mosul. There is no way that we are going to reverse that. That probably is, at least for the next short to medium term, something that will remain a fact. So that part of it, which now gives the terrorists, it gives this radical offshoot of al-Qaeda the largest territorial gains it has ever had, and in control even today of the largest city it has ever had.
It's the same thing that happened in Syria, where there was an opportunity for something to be done. We didn't do it. Now a group that's extremely radicalized is in control of some American facility or American weaponry and is consolidating. That ISIS stands for Syria and Iraq, this radical group with Syrian fighters and Iraqi fighters in it. And now they seem, Charles, according to all my guests this week who have been experts on this, to be beginning the caliphate. It's the beginning of the Islamic State that is dedicated to killing Americans. And they've got 5,000 or at least a couple thousand of them in Iraq right now.
They're dedicated to killing all infidels, and they have started killing infidels. They get into the city of Mosul, and the first thing that they do is to burn the Assyrian church. These people will destroy everything that is not a reflection of their own radical ideology. But as you say, why did the administration ignore the intelligence reports? Because this president has been preaching for 2 years now, at least, especially in the election year of 2012, the tide of war is receding, which is completely false. War is accelerating. accelerating in Ukraine, accelerating in Syria, accelerating in Iraq. What Obama says is America is receding, America is retreating, and gave the false impression that we, which we are supposedly the causes of these wars, once we retreat, everything will be okay. It's precisely the opposite. He withdraws us summarily, prematurely from Iraq. He leaves nothing behind. And what we get is a vacuum now being occupied by Iran on the one side, Shiite radical jihadi, and now this group ISIS, Sunni radical jihadi, on the other side. Two devils, different stripes. And that's what occupies the space when America leaves.